So first topic that we are going to see today is collaborative learning. Any idea what is collaborative learning? You can use the chat box to give your insights. What is collaborative learning? It can be otherwise called as group learning. So collaborative learning, it is an approach in which students study in groups, to enhance their learning outcomes. They come together to perform tasks, work on projects, and understand new concepts. So it helps students to defend their places, reframe ideas, understand other person's point of view, aids in better understanding of a subject. So we can say that it is one of the active learning method, we can say, or the student-centered approach where students' involvement is more, and the students, they share their ideas and thoughts with each other. So each student has one idea. When they work together in group, they learn more ideas come out. They learn with each other in their own comfort zone. So each one's involvement is more. And through this way, as we had seen that all these modern teaching methods, they help in developing the most important 21st century skills like leadership qualities, communication, etc. So all these things naturally develop in children when they do collaboratively. So it is a teaching method where students work together to learn or complete a task that is designed by the teacher, given by a teacher. The students work in groups to explore a question or to create a project. So the benefits are the students develop higher level thinking skills, oral communication, self-management, and leadership skills. They can also learn to understand diverse perspectives and prepare for real-life social and employment situations. So some examples of collaborative learning. Students can work in pairs or small groups to discuss concepts or solve problems. They can also work on separate tasks that contribute for a common learning outcome. So it could be just a simple discussion to a big project or task that the students do in a class, the teacher being a mentor or a facilitator. So the characteristics of collaborative learning in classroom. Here, the both teacher and the students learn by sharing knowledge. Students learn through teachers' expertise and teachers learn through students' lessons. Teacher acts as a middleman. That is, the teacher does not solely give the knowledge to the students, but she acts as a mediator between the students and education. So she does the learning happen. She does not teach directly. She makes the students do through the activities, through the tasks, and she makes them understand the concept more effectively. Shared learning, authority between the teachers and students. The students has the provision to set their goals and gather information to different learning materials. Here, the students, they don't restrict themselves to a particular learning material, textbook, or anything. They have the liberty to search for more information or materials to gather information and complete their task or project. Diverse grouping of students. Here, the grouping can be a small or a larger group based on the need of the task or the project given. The group should be made such that the students are different from each other in terms of their strengths, weakness, interest, and other aspects. Here, the teacher should take the sole responsibility in grouping the students. If it is allowed to be done by the students, then the students might group themselves as friends, and the ones who are interested in one particular task or anything. So when the sole responsibility is in the teacher's hand, she would group the students based on their strengths, weakness, who has the ability to lead a particular group, and who can encourage or motivate, all equal in each group. So diverse grouping of students is a possibility here. The strategies for collaborative learning, clarifying the group responsibilities. Whenever a task or a activity or a project is given, allocated to the group, the teacher has to clarify the responsibility of each and every student, how each and every one has to play the role there. It can't be always one or two person who will speak or who will give ideas and the other just rest and come and stand and present it. So the teacher has to make the responsibilities clear to the students so that the contribution happen from each and every student in the group. And more importantly, the teacher has to conduct, be it any, though it is collaborative or any, but before implementing any particular method of teaching, it is preferable that the teacher conducts a pre-test and a post-test. In this way, the teacher will be able to analyze her own teaching methodology, how far it has reached the students, and how it has been effective in implementing to make the understanding more better or reachable to the students. So in this way method also, it is more preferable that before implementing or before giving any task or any group activity, she has to conduct a pre-test to test the students' understanding level. And after the activity, the post-test to be done to see how much they have more gathered the knowledge after the task or activity. Yeah, allow the group tasks to reduce anxiety among the students. Make use of real world problems or situations, not imaginary. It is more preferable that the teacher gives a task or an assignment or an activity which is based on the real world rather imaginary. Form diverse groups, including all type of students in each group. Make use of technology for better learning outcomes. So in any teaching method, when we use technology, it makes it much more effective. So including technology for better learning outcomes. Yeah. The teacher's role in collaborative learning, first and foremost, group forming and helping students with good environments and activities. The activity should be engaging, interesting, at the same time related to the subject core matter or to the curriculum, which will foster knowledge and make the understanding of the concept better. Giving opportunities and tasks that promote collaborative learning. So before giving a task to the students to do, the teacher has to make the concept clear to the students using various methods, using technology, etc. Structure the groups in such a way that it involves diversity, as already we saw. The group should have all type of students who can lead the group, who can motivate, who can contribute to the involving all the students. So it should be diverse. Offer resources and study materials to the students, which will help them in completing or moving forward with their activity or task or project. Yeah, conduct assessment of the students in groups. So it would be mostly like once the group has completed, they would be presenting in front of the whole class. So that each and every group while presenting the knowledge gets transferred to the whole class. So while doing so, the teacher can do the assessment like how each one has got involved, how the group has done together as a whole, and how was the solution brought up, how relevant it was, all that the assessment can be done by the teacher. So these are the roles of a teacher as a facilitator while doing collaborative activities. Yeah. So some of the most important tips or the points to remember. The teacher should define everyone's goals in the group. As said, she has to lay down the responsibility and set the ground rules of each and every, reminding of each and everyone's responsibility of involvement, etc. Encourage open communication and trust among group members. So she has to like lay the ground rules and teach them how they have to positively communicate and constructively deny, okay, and say no and accept others' views. All that has to be taught in order to have a healthy activity or a group work in the classroom. More importantly, conduct a pre-test and post-test to evaluate the outcomes and the effectiveness of the activity or the work. Establish the ground rules for the participation. So these tips would help a teacher to conduct a collaborative teaching method, to implement a collaborative teaching method more effectively with proper classroom management. So we would see the 10 strategies first and then move on to some examples like that we can include under this method. So the 10 strategies to build on student collaboration in classroom. Deliberately select which students will work together. So the teacher has to select which students will work together based on their strength, weakness, etc. Uh, Size the groups for maximum effectiveness. Like if it is a very small group like 2 and 3, the idea exchange will be very less. The thought process, the exchange of thoughts and ideas will be very limited. Whereas if it is a very large group, there is a possibility that one or two might take the lead, leaving the rest behind. So it has to be moderately grouped in number. So size the group effectively. Teach your students how to listen to one another. It is important. It is not that only one person can take the lead and the rest has to be just silent spectator. So each one has to listen to each other, whether it is a correct or wrong. It is each one's ideas that has to be put together. Set the rules of language and collaboration. That is how to uh, behave with each other in a group activity, how to speak, how to communicate, and how to constructively say no to somebody's thoughts or ideas and how to accept, etc. Make goals and expectations clear. That is what is expected out of the group activity or group discussion or the task or the project. That has to be made clear to the students. Otherwise, the students will create their own things and which is not relevant to what is expected by the teacher. Yeah. So it to avoid any confusion or saying yes or no, the teacher could even assign roles to the members, each members of the group, like who would be taking the notes, who would be like asking or moving for more information or resource materials. And so each member can be allotted and then all things put together, they would work together and how the presentation will go on. The teacher could also assign the roles to each member of the group. Yes, use real world problems, not imaginary ones, be it science or mathematics or whatever. When we are making the students work together, it should be based on real life situations or problems, which should be, it will help the children to think critically, analyze situations critically, and arrive at solution, which will enhance their critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving ability, etc. Consider giving each group a different task. So when each group is involved doing a different task, then there won't be like a thing like copying others' ideas, like trying to interfere in and curiosity in knowing how they are moving forward with their task or anything. So each group will concentrate only on their work and projects. So it is preferable to give each group a different kind of task so that while presenting, it won't be monotonous. So their students, each group will be presenting on a different task or a group, which will be more interesting and different to listen to. Yeah, it can be started with a warm-up activity or a game to arouse interest and motivate the students for the activity. Evaluate each group on its own merit, no comparison, no negative feedbacks. Positively point out what has to be improved, how each one has contributed, what was lagging in that group or the group work that has to be finally given by the teacher. So these are the important strategies or points to be kept in mind while implementing this method. So now let us see some collaborative activities. So there are many collaborative activities that teacher can design their own. They can customize their own activity based on the need of the subject or the chapter or the topic that she is going to take. Some of the common collaborative activities that can be considered in anything is one of the things is think, pair, share. We all might have heard about it. That is think, pair, share. It is actually a grouping students into three. In that, the questions are posed by the teacher. So the students are made to think individually before grouping them. They think, then they are put together, okay, and each one shares their ideas. That is, after pairing, they share their ideas. Then they come out with a common idea or a conclusion, which is then presented to the whole class, which is shared with the whole class. So first individual thinking, then pairing up, then sharing with the whole class. So it is a collaborative learning strategy that involves students thinking about a question or a problem individually, then pairing up to discuss their thoughts, and finally sharing their insights with the larger group. So the pairing need not be just two students, it can be two or more based on the need or the number of students. And then after discussion, they will be sharing their solution or the ideas or the result with the rest of the class. So this is Think Pair Share, which is one of the most effective and very widely used collaborative activity. So here, first, spend time by thinking yourself first based on what is the problem or the question given by the teacher. Then pair up with a partner in your table group and take turns sharing your ideas. So what idea, what answer they found for that question, they will be sharing it. They'll be pairing and discussing, and then share your collaborative thoughts with the whole class. So this is Think Pair Share. Next one is jigsaw. So we all would have heard about the jigsaw puzzle. So the entire picture or something can be broken into small groups in the as puzzles. So like that way, the whole class can be divided into small groups, and each group can be assigned a piece of a puzzle. Here the puzzle in the sense can be a topic or something which can be split into small subtopics, and it can be allotted to each group in the class. These small groups work together, they find a solution, they create their ideas, they put together their ideas and thoughts and come out with an answer, and then they report it back to the whole class. So this is jigsaw method of teaching under collaborative learning. So here, for example, here, steps like first, the teacher has to choose the topic that lends well to group work. Okay, then break the topic up into equal parts. Example, 4 groups, 4 parts of the topic. So an example here, uh, to make the students work on to understand deeply about the function of the heart, how the heart functions. So it is one topic. So if we take the heart, it is divided into 4 parts, the right and the left atria, the right and the left ventricle. So each one has its function of receiving and the pumping of the blood. So each part can be allotted to each group. When if the class is divided into 4 groups, each group takes one part. They discuss deeply on the working of that particular part alone. Then when the task is over, they come together and they present it to the whole class what they have understood. So in this way, each group works deeply to understand one particular part of that topic. When they give it to others, the whole class understands. So each one contributes and everyone learns together. So this is a simple example of jigsaw assignment. And next, we have the problem-based learning. So problem-based learning also can be allotted for groups. It is a collaborative learning strategy where students are given real-life problems and they get involved in assessing, analyzing, and arriving at a solution. They solve it and they present it in front of the whole class. So problem-based learning also is one of the collaborative learning strategy. Any doubts in this topic, teachers? Some teachers have given their ideas as requested yesterday. We shall discuss it at the end. So moving forward, we'll move to the next topic, which is cooperative learning. So cooperative learning is somewhat similar to collaborative, but there is a slight difference. You will see that. Cooperative learning, in the sense, it is more structured when compared to collaborative learning. Here, cooperative learning is also a group work where students are put together in groups. They cooperate with each other, but it is more structured and more monitored by the teacher. The teacher intervention is more when compared to that of collaborative learning. In collaborative learning, the teacher assigns a task, she plays the ground rules, she gives the freedom to the students to do their work and present it in the class. Whereas in cooperative learning, it can be not just a very short period, it can be extended for a long period of time, and the teacher intervenes how they are moving forward with that. She guides them with the relevant learning and resource materials to guide the students and then make them reach the task or the goal. So here cooperative learning is a teaching method that involves students working together in smaller groups to complete tasks and learn academic material. It is a student-centered approach as well that can be used in a variety of settings and subjects. Cooperative learning can help students learn more quickly and efficiently, develop transferable skills, take ownership of their learning, think more critically, and receive more feedback which are valued. Some characteristics of this cooperative learning method. Students work in small groups of 2 to 5 people. Positive interdependence. That is, students are dependent on each other to complete the task. So each and every student involvement is compulsory here. Positive interdependence, each one depends on every student of a particular group to contribute in the completion of the task or the project. Individual accountability. So students are responsible for their own work. Pro-social behavior. Students use cooperative behavior to complete the task. Some strategies like are reciprocal teaching. The students take the responsibilities of a summarizer, questioner, predictor, clarifier, etc. to help each other understand the text, which enables them to contribute in completion of the task. Hands-on learning, student works in group to demonstrate, to complete physical tasks like assembling a structure, demonstrating a procedure, experimenting something, etc. So the instructor or the teachers, they monitor group work to ensure that all students' voices are heard and their contributions are involved. So as I told you, cooperative learning and collaborative learning are both instructional strategies that help students learn together but they differ in a few ways. First, structure. Cooperative learning is more structured. That is, with teachers assigning role and task to each and every student, and students working together on structured projects. Collaborative learning is more self-directed, while with students working independently and combining their contributions. Accountability. In terms of, in case of cooperative learning, each child is accountable to the contribution in completion of the task or the project. Collaborative learning may emphasize the overall group learning outcome more than individual grades. So here, individual assessment uh, and grading is done in case of cooperative learning, whereas in case of collaborative learning, the entire group work is considered more than that of the individual's uh, assessment. Then interaction involvement is more and very necessary in case of cooperative learning. Teachers observe, listen, and intervene when necessary. In collaborative learning, students are better able to investigate key concepts and build their own expertise. So materials in cooperative learning, teachers supply information for students to read and analyze. In collaborative learning, students share materials among themselves and independently source for additional information on their own. But both cooperative and collaborative learning can lead to deeper understanding, increased engagement, and heightened motivation. So understand the differences and similarities in a much better way. Cooperative learning is a mode of teaching where the educators leaves each member of the student group with the responsibility of uplifting the academic performance of the others. So each one cooperates with each other, contributes equally, it becomes accountable to the completion of the task, and also understanding of the concept to each and every member of the group. Collaborative learning is a mode of teaching where the students are left to get together and work on a given project as a team. Teacher involvement is more visible in case of cooperative learning, limited teacher involvement. Educator reviews and assesses the work and awards marks to the students. Whereas in collaborative learning, students do self-assessment on both individual and group performances. One of the examples under cooperative learning is three-step interviewing learning. So we would have also learned about it. This is one very common method of active learning strategies we can say that we implement in the classes. So it is one of the cooperative learning method. So this three-step interview learning strategy, it incorporates a blend of role-playing, discussion to facilitate student learning. The cooperative learning technique facilitates the development of skills such as active listening, note-taking, and sharing information. So the three steps of active listening, note-taking, and sharing the information. The strategy comprises of question-answer sessions and interviews, enhancing student interest and engagement, and in turn making learning more fun and enjoyable in the classroom. So how it is done? The process. For the three-step interview, students are grouped into small groups of three. Each member takes up a role. First, one takes up the role of an interviewer. The next would be the interviewee. And the third would take up the role of a note taker or a reporter. And each student will get an opportunity to play each role. So the roles get interchanged every time. So the student who had taken up the role of an interviewer would be an interviewee next, and the role exchanges the next term. To help explain the process, each student will be named as A, B, and C. The interviewing process is conducted in three steps. So first step, student A, B, and C, interviewer, interviewee, reporter. In the step two, the roles get exchanged. Student C becomes the interviewer, A becomes the interviewee, and B becomes the interviewer. And the next step, still the role changes. So after the three-step interview process is completed, the students are given extra time to share and consolidate the information. Some points that are to be considered include purpose of the activity. It can be used as an entrance activity while the teacher wants to introduce the topic and to activate the past knowledge to gather the previous knowledge of the students. Or this task can be done in between as an in-between activity to encourage students to analyze and understand the topic in depth, and or also as an exit task to review the information taught in the class. So the purpose of the activity can be either of it. The questions. So what questions the students will be asking? So the teachers can provide a general topic statement or a question, a one common or a particular question, which around which the students have to frame more and more questions to deeper, to go in depth of that topic or the concept and to widen their knowledge on that concept. So the teacher will provide a general topic statement, or one particular question around which the students frame more questions to complete the task. This general statement can be framed to reflect the purpose of the activity. So next goes the interviewing. Students need to be familiarized with the method of interviewing. So this the teacher can do by playing some short video clips like how the interviews go on. So using video clips, teachers can point out these various facets of an interview, including the importance of taking time to think before answering a question. They can also be given the freedom to choose whether or not to answer a particular question, as in real interviews. So uh, the method or how they have to carry on the activity has to be clearly taught first by the teacher using short video clips. So next, the timing. The teachers need to plan for the key time duration, or else if the time limit is not set up, then the task may take its own time, which is not correct. One after presenting the general topic, students can be given around 2 to 3 minutes to prepare their thoughts and question. Then to interviewing time can be fixed time for 3 to 4 minutes. Then to prepare the next role, 3 or 4 minutes can be allotted. Then recording. The teachers can create a template of a recording sheet and hand them out to the students. The same sheet can be used to record questions and answers from all three students. It can also include a space for noting down the consolidated and summarized information. So when all these things are planned out well, then it can be implemented effectively in the classroom. So the benefits of this three-step interview learning strategy is beneficial to student learning in the following ways. First, it encourages students to think about the information they have been taught. So here the group is not only working on to find a solution for the answer, but they are increasing their curiosity first by finding questions. What they are going to know, what they need to know more about the concept. First, they are brainstorming first to find out more relevant questions based on that topic or the statement given by the teacher. Then for those questions, they are finding the answers. Then those answers are being noted by the student or the reporter who plays the role of a reporter or the note taker, which is then presented in the whole class. So if the questions are asked by the teacher herself, then it would be limited. She can frame at around 5 or 10 questions. Just imagine if it is done by each group asking three questions to each student's taking. So each group takes a turn and ask at least 9 questions. So if 4 groups are there, then the number of questions they ask and the number of answers they get for the questions, this makes them analyze, think critically, the in depth of that concept they go and to understand it more effectively in a better way. And to find the answers, they try to search for materials. They go in for more information about the concept, which helps them to deepen their knowledge in the concept or the topic given. So it encourages students to think about the information they have been taught. It expands their ability to question, think, and generate answer. So the skills like critical thinking, analyzing, critically analyzing things, problem solving, finding a solution, all that is enhanced in the children. It provides each student with the opportunity to voice their opinions and promotes equal participation. So in this case, there is no chance of any student being left out, or no chance of any student just being silent and just taking the role in the presentation alone. Each student gets involved as the role gets exchanged. The interviewee plays the role of an interviewer as well as the note maker, and the same goes to the other. So each one gets equally involved, contributes equally, and each student is accountable for the uh, uh, and making the concept more understandable and clear to each and every member of the group. It provides each student with the opportunity to voice their opinions and promotes equal participation. It promotes students' accountability. The three-step interview learning strategy helps students to enhance their learning by using their inquisitive nature and enables them to develop their skills such as active listening, questioning, and generating answers. So they not just find for the answers, they also develop the active listening skills, the questioning skills, which that is inquisitive nature, questioning curiosity, and generating answer. Teachers regarding this. Yeah. So after collaborative learning method and cooperative learning method, the next method we are going to see is social emotional learning. So what is social emotional learning? We had previously, we know that the four main areas of development in each child: physical development, cognitive development, language development, and the last is social emotional development. So all the four areas are equally important. So that is why the teaching that is done, the teaching and learning process, it should contribute to the development of the whole child. Okay, the overall development, not just the physical development, not just the cognitive development, not just the language, but also including the social and emotional development is also very important. And this development contributes more to the skills that are needed when the student moves out and faces the real world, outer world. So these emotional, social emotional development is very important, which makes the students collaborate, cooperate, communicate, adjust, uh, get involved, okay, to feel comfortable among groups, okay, not to just dominate or not to stay behind. So social emotional role plays a very important part in every student's, every person's life. So social emotional learning contributes more to the development of the social emotional area of the child. So social emotional is an learning is an educational method that helps people develop skills to understand and manage their emotions, build relationships, and make responsible decisions. This can help people cope with challenges, improve their well-being, and learn better. So social emotional learning can help people develop a positive sense of self, promote respectful relationships, understand historical and social norms, recognize resources and supports in their family, school, and community, communicate clearly and listen actively, cooperate and work collaboratively to solve problems, navigate settings with different social and cultural demands, provide leadership. So most of the modern methods of teaching and the active learning strategies or student-centered approach of teaching involves lot of teamwork, group activity, etc. So when a student is cooperating or doing any collaborative work or a group work or in a team work, the student has to have the skills or ability to listen to others, to contribute their thoughts and ideas freely without hesitating, without having any fear of what others think, uh, and to adjust to everyone's need, to understand others, to empathize others. So all these things develop in the students. So all these things are important to when we are trying to implement any of these active learning methods, especially collaborative and cooperative. So through social learning methods, we instill all these skills in the students which are necessary. So the strategies include encouraging positive self-talk. This helps in self-awareness and self-regulation. Learning about student interest. Random acts of kindness. Social emotional skills. Relationship skills. And social awareness. Writing a story together. Morning questions. Playing games. So here the teacher makes the student talk about themselves, like morning questions in the sense the teacher, before starting with the subject or anything, she spends a few minutes or 5 to 10 minutes to know about students, what they did, how did they have their evening at home, what all they did together with their parents, how did they, who helped them in their learning. So all these things make the students come out with any problems they have to speak out. And when it happens in a group, each student understands the problems that others are facing and what they can do to help each other. So morning questions and morning tasks, playing games especially helps in developing teamwork, helping each other, creating a positive sportsmanship, which is very important in every part of life. Okay, and writing a story together where each one contributes simple ideas to extend their writing skills. So learning about student interests, etc. These are the strategies of social emotional learning. So the characteristics include self-awareness. The student has to be aware of one's strength, weakness, ability, what they need to develop, what are their abilities, what are the hidden talents, to come out with that. Then self-management. Self-management also includes about uh, holding how to uh, uh, handle their emotions at various situations. Okay, that self-management ability and all these things makes the students more social and emotionally stable. Social awareness, like how understanding others needs and others problems, sympathizing, empathizing, etc. Relationship skills, how to move about with others in a group work, in a task, or when they are together in a class, how each one contributes to the well-being and wellness of others, and how each one can help in the understanding of the concept in a group work or activity. Then how decision making has to be done, how they have to critically analyze the situation, how they can differentiate between the goods and the bads, good and the bad, all these which help in the proper decision making. So all these are the characteristics of social emotional learning method. So how to improve that skill? By giving them group assignments, through active listening and communication, by assigning seats and change them often. So few things that the teachers can do is often have more and more group activities, and while allotting the group activities, see that they are grouping them based on their strengths and their abilities, where one can help each the other in developing their skills and other things. Help them to actively listen, make them to communicate, make them to speak. Children who don't come out, as we told yesterday, saw yesterday, some students, they hesitate to talk, come out, even if they are loaded with ideas and thoughts. So putting them in small groups and encouraging them in talking and all that helps them to come out of that fear. So often make the children to speak, to listen actively to others. Okay, so this will help them to empathize, to sympathize others' uh, problems and situations. Then assign seats. Always don't make a student always be seated in one particular place with one student. The child becomes more comfortable, more close to one particular child alone. And when the child moves to a new such environment or a new person, the child will not be so open and free. So often change the seating arrangement, often change the partners of the students, give them a chance to mingle freely with each and every student in the class. So through these things, the social emotional learning, the social emotional areas of the child can be developed. So some more points how we can improve these areas we can see. Promote journal writing. Make the children write more and more. The students who do not speak out will feel more comfortable in writing. So make them write. Reflective writing involves critically analyzing an experience, recording how it has impacted them, and what they plan to do with the new knowledge they have. So make them write, make them analyze situations critically. They can write a journal on any topic or anything. So writing is a great way to promote social emotional learning. Students express more through writing rather than speaking. Students can either be given a prompt or asked to write freely. So this teacher can prompt a question, or they can be asked to write freely on an open topic. Writing a reflective journal helps them become more aware of their thoughts and feelings, emotions, and the resulting behavior. It does also helps them become more empathetic and compassionate. The feelings, the emotions they become aware of. They also understand the need of others or the problems the others are facing. They develop the skills of empathizing and sympathizing. They become more compassionate, friendly. The social behavior improves in the children through these methods. Creating a soothing and comfortable environment during the writing exercise promotes a feeling of relaxation and aids with the sharing of responses with a partner or the entire class is another useful way of promoting social emotional learning through reflective journal writing. So writing is also one of the methods to release out the stress of the students if they are facing any kind of problems or anything in their mind. So through writing, the students can release their stress through this method. Encourage read alouds for perspective taking. Read alouds is another one method which can help in this social emotional learning. Read alouds can be a great way to encourage social emotional learning. They allow the opportunity for perspective taking through a discussion on whatever is being read. So reading aloud activity can be done often in the class. This helps the kids become more aware, empathetic, and compassionate towards others' thoughts, feelings, and emotions, while being able to better manage their own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and behavior around others. This also helps develop their conflict resolution and management abilities. Use art to encourage expressions. Students who can't speak out, students who cannot write or not good at writing that much, they can express themselves better through art. And art is another one best method to release out their stress, to gather all their emotions and put it and their feelings and through in the form of art. It is a great medium of expression and social emotional learning. It can also be practiced through it. Art is a great coping strategy for managing stress. Working with partners helps promote teamwork, collaboration, cooperation, sharing, and relationship skills. This is a great way to practice both self-awareness and social awareness. Examples like drawing, painting, sketching, etc. So the benefits of this particular strategy is using artistic methods takes your mind off of the negative emotions. It encourages healing and mental well-being of the student. Discussing empathy. This is a critical social emotional learning skill which is very important to be developed in the children, as it makes one more socially aware and receptive to others. They stand in others' shoes and understand how they feel, and this not just makes the students silent spectators and saying that they are really sorry, but it makes them move one step forward to find a solution for the problem they are facing, and help or contribute in pulling them out of the situation. So it makes one more socially aware and receptive to others. It is a foundation based on which one is able to understand others better by considering their feelings, their point of view, and the resultant behavior. Thus, one is better able to manage self and others in social situations. Yeah, whole class meetings. So this is nothing but daily or on weekly basis. The teacher can speak to the students, ask them to share their problems about the topics that they are doing, about the subject matter that they are doing. They can come forward and tell what problems they are facing in understanding or doing the task or the work assignments that are given. So holding a class meeting helps students come out and speak freely. It's a forum where kids speak freely about any topic and help them practice self-expression and problem solving, etc. It gives them a chance to identify the problems they are facing, to speak about, to express it out freely, and helping them to find a solution or solving the problem effectively. It also helps in creating a positive climate for all the students, where each students speak out freely about the problems they are having in their class, in their subject, etc. It also makes the classroom a very comfort place for everyone, when each one has a liberty or freedom to share their or express their feelings. Excuse me, as it's going on, so I'll wait for a few minutes. So next method is practicing mindfulness. So mindfulness is nothing but a kind of meditation, we can say, which makes them which gives makes someone to think and reflect about oneself, become self-aware of oneself. Like it helps them to calm down, to reflect on what they have done, etc. So using this mindfulness technique in the classroom can help to teach kids how to calm down before a big test, manage their emotions when they are upset. Okay, so it helps to manage stress and anxiety. It is a self-awareness skills that focus on present to accept one's circumstances. Sometimes kids don't know how to calm down on their own. Mindfulness can help kids learn breathing strategies, how to focus on just one thing at a time and relaxing bodies. So this method can be used when we were discussing yesterday, there were some questions like how to calm down the students. They become very hyper when we implement a game-based method of teaching. So this can be done after that, which will help in calming down or bringing back the students back to the class. So help in making them to close their eyes, meditate for a while, do simple breathing exercises can help the students uh, improve in not just in social and emotional learning behavior, but also in bringing them back to from their hyperactive mode to the normal mode. Yeah. So practice respectfully disagree. So in one of the strategies or the tips that we saw in collaborative and cooperative learning is that the teacher has to teach the students how to constructively disagree to any statement laid down by the fellow group member. So practice respectfully disagreeing is one of the most important social skill that every student has to know. Denying is not wrong, saying no is not wrong, but how they say that without hurting others is important. That has to be practiced in the class. So people are going to disagree sometime. However, it is important to disagree respectively. So often emotions run high when someone disagrees with us. It's important to make students practice disagreeing in a good manner. So students discuss debate topics, making sure that they actively listen other one and respect opinion even when they don't agree. So they have to be taught to listen to others even when they don't disagree and constructively say no and lay down their idea instead of mocking or saying it in a hurting way to others. Play games. So playing games is another good method to improve various skills. So cooperative learning games help to promote social learning. It helps kids become more self-aware, develop positive relationship, and make positive decisions, and also to accept others, to adjust with others, to give turns to others. They also develop leadership skills through this method, etc. Yeah. So this was all about social emotional learning. So by practicing these strategies or these techniques, we can help children develop in their social emotional areas, which is really very important in the overall development of the child. Yeah. So the last topic that we are going to discuss today is flipped learning. So in the first class, when Sir spoke, he also spoke about flipped classroom, flipped learning method, which is becoming more common these days because of its effectiveness in teaching the students in a better way. So what is flipped classroom or flipped learning method? It is just the reverse of the traditional learning method. So in the traditional learning method, what do we do? The teacher takes the class, she introduces a concept, she explains it, she teaches it to the students. Then at the end of the class, she gives a task or an assignment or a homework, we can say, that she expects the child to do it at home and come. So that is what is happening, that happens that in a traditional method of learning. Flipped classroom is just the reverse. What is done is the teacher gives or sends some video content or through online using technology, which this child goes through at home in the evening of the previous night. The child tries to understand or learn, not completely, but the child tries to understand what the topic is about, what is the concept about through the material sent by the teacher, and the student comes prepared to the class the next day. So here the next day, instead of again teaching the same thing, the teacher can make the student directly get into the activities, tasks, or experimentation or whatever. And this will add on to the understanding, or it will help the student to understand the concept in a more effective manner. And here, when the student prepares at home previously, the child already develops some curiosity. The child has some questions, all that, which the child can clear the very next day from the teacher before getting involved in other activities and things. So this is what is flipped learning. So let us see how it is done and what are the things the teacher has to remember while implementing this method. The flipped classroom method, it is a teaching strategy that reverses the traditional classroom structure by having students learn content outside of the class and then apply it in class. The goal is to increase student engagement and learning by having students take responsibility for their learning and interact with their peers and teachers during the class. So there is more space for the students' interaction with the teachers and the peer members if this method is implemented. So this can make it more clear. So the flipped classroom, what happens in class, what happens out of the class. So here you can see before that happens outside the class. So before, the student prepares to participate in class activities by viewing the videos or the resource, the materials provided by the teacher or the handouts provided by the teacher. Then in the class or during the class, the student practice applying key concept with feedback through various activities or tasks designed by the teacher in the class. Then after that, the students check their understanding and extend their learning with various other activities. So before introducing or before teaching in the class, the student prepares for it, then directly contributes in applying the key concept, and then after that extends that learning through various other activities and tasks. So this is what is flipped classroom method. So the key references are mentioned here. So before the class, in case of traditional classroom, students assign something to read. Instructor prepares the lecture. Here, the students guided through learning module that asks and collects questions. Instructor prepares learning opportunities. In the beginning of the class, students have limited information what to expect. Okay, instructor makes general assumption about what is helpful. Okay, here whereas in flipped classrooms, students have specific questions in mind to guide their learning. Instructor can anticipate where students need the most help. During the class, students try to follow along the teacher. Instructor tries to get through all the learning material, whereas here, students practice performing the skills they are expected to learn. Instructor guides the process with feedback and mini lectures. Some key characteristics are content delivery. That is, students learn content before class, often through pre-recorded lectures, readings, and or videos. Class time. During the class time, students use class time to apply their knowledge through problem solving, group work, discussions, and various other activities. Reflection. Students reflect on their learning and use feedback to improve their understanding. Technology. So the teacher can use the content authoring tools to create interactive videos, and students can access content online from their home. So the benefits are the flipped classroom method can help students learn more deeply, build confidence, and prepare for the real world. So here, in traditional classroom, what happens? The students arrive and settle, the time taken 0 to 5 minutes, review last night's homework 0 to 10 minutes, lecture new content which takes around 30 to 45 minutes, guided or independent learning just 10 to 20 minutes. Whereas if we see the flipped classroom, students arrive and settle in 0 to 5 minutes. Then questioning for understanding around previous night's video. Already the questions are ready in the student's mind. They have already learned the content, seen the videos. So they have already questions. So that takes place for 10 minutes. Then directly without lecturing the new content, the teacher can enter into the guided, independent and cooperative learning to enhance their student understanding and of the concept. So the entire 55 minutes, the teacher can use it effectively with students' involvement through various other methods of teaching. So this is one of the uh, what to say, we can say that using flipped classroom, the teacher can make use of the time very effectively. Whereas in the traditional method, it would be difficult for a teacher to find time to do activities or other things. Whereas using this flipped classroom method technique, the time that is taken by the teacher in delivering the content can be used effectively in conducting various guided, independent, and cooperative learning methods. Yeah, so here it is more clearly given. Under flipped classroom, we can see. So practice activities like skits, debates, questions, demonstrations, hands-on experiments, skits and role plays, etc. can be done in those 45 minutes. Homework would be to refresh learning, prepare for the next class.
Shabina, miss,
Yes,
can I just come in?
yes, ma'am. Yes, you can.
Actually, flipped classrooms are they are paired with this Bloom's taxonomy. That is, the child learns and then understands and
Yes,
gains knowledge and all that. And in the end, the child creates. So the creativity will come inside. So the child makes something. Maybe the child writes a poem, or it constructs some model or something like that. Okay. So if you would like to just touch upon the Bloom's taxonomy along with the flip learning, because they go hand in hand. Okay.
yeah.
So you can do that. And
Yeah.
one more, yeah, you just go ahead. And finally, I'll just give some hints on
Yes.
conversation. Yeah.
So as ma'am said, the Bloom's taxonomy starts with remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So remembering or that is to here when the child is already given the content through videos, through recorded lectures, etc. The child is completely aware of the concept and other things. So when the child comes next day to the class, the child is now already has reached the understanding level, and will be able to apply, analyze, and then gets a chance to evaluate and create on its own. So that is what is Bloom taxonomy. You can see the pyramid. The child has to remember in the sense, if we take a topic in science, what are the different terms if we take photosynthesis example. So here the child has to remember the definition, then able to list out the things, okay, what is needed in that process, okay, and state what is the significance of each and every importance of each and every part of the plant, or what contributes in that process, everything. Understanding, then apply, then analyze. So when they come back to the class, they will be able to demonstrate that the experiments of like we have the photosynthesis experiment in which proves that leaves take part. They are the major participants. Why? Because of the presence of chlorophyll, what contributes in that. So they'll be able to apply and analyze that, which helps them to evaluate what they have learned and how effective it is, and to create on their own what is needed. So this is what is Bloom taxonomy that ma'am is trying to tell. So the child will be able to recall facts and basic concepts, explain ideas or concept when in their understanding level. So use the same information in applying in new situations, then draw connections among the ideas, that is deeply critically analyze and draw connections among the ideas, justify a stand or a decision, that is to evaluate, then to create. In this, that is the last part of this Bloom's taxonomy pyramid, that is to create, produce new or original work based on their learning. They apply their knowledge, their understanding, everything in creating their new piece of work. So that is what the child will be able to do in case if the flipped learning method is implemented effectively. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to add anything in this, ma'am?
Yes, ma. Yeah, the topics are all very well. I think you were very slow, and I think everybody would have understood very well. Just some tips on English teaching. For spoken English, this is a time tested, and I've always found it very effective. For spoken English, it's better to teach them small skits. So if you group them into small groups and make them practice the same skit, everybody should, every group should do like that. Once they speak in the skit, then that one hesitation of speaking, that comes out. And then after that, they start speaking very well. And also, you can make the child write a poem. You just have to tell them when you're teaching poetry, you have to tell them to pick out the rhyming words, and ask them to find more rhyming words for that, and then ask them to create a poem with those words. So it will be easy. Already something is supplied. They will just add on. In the beginning, it will be like nonsensical only, but sometimes you get very beautiful ideas. So you can practice them like that. Okay, so these two things I wanted to tell you. If anybody else has any ideas, yesterday.
Some people have shared here, ma'am, in the chat. I would like to read one of that. Barkat Shahana from Ibn Abbas Islamic School, teaching grade 4 science. She has stated using CBLN, that is game-based learning and learning in the topic Our Universe, raising questions first, like what is universe, where do you live, why the Pluto considered as dwarf planet, then using technology learning media, that is projector, laptop, PPT, speaker, flashcard, and given project to make the solar system, use the uh, project-based learning method. Then up through applying the game-based learning method in doing card game, then using Kahoot in gamification. So 2, 3 methodologies implemented in teaching about universe. And one more teacher. For class 4 science again, methodology, project-based learning and inquiry-based learning. Topic is separation, management, and impact of waste. Activities like data collection, poster making, or campaigning the importance of separation of waste and its impact on the environment through small play, workshops on recycling and reusing the waste, interaction and healthy discussion to analyze on the data about the project and making decisions on that. So inquiry-based learning and project-based learning implemented in teaching about separation, management, and waste. Here, another teacher has written about Arabic, non-connecting and connecting letters in Arabic using gamification method. Anyone would like to share your teaching experiences where you have implemented one of these modern teaching methods? You can tell, you can share with others. So, tongue twisters. Yeah, one teacher has written that for spoken English, tongue twisters can be practiced every day. Okay, ma'am. That's all for today's, ma'am. Anything else to say? Salim sir is here.
Some more messages are there, ma.
Flashcards, using flash. One second. Using flashcards for 2, 3. For English, project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, and game-based learning for the teaching action words. So students will be learning and identifying action words. Action words, comic strips, paper and pencils, markers, etc. Questions like what are some things you can do with your hands? What action words come to mind when you think of a dog? Game-based learning using balloon activity.
Yeah, somebody has asked when will we conduct the exam? Tomorrow, by the end of the class, we will post the question paper.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, Salim sir is not there. We have to end the meeting.
Are you the host? Then you can end the meeting.
Yeah, yes. Ma'am. Yeah, thank you, teachers. Inshallah, we'll see you in the next class. Thank you. Jazakallah.